then next game will be this November.
I'm sure he was next one.
The next one will be good.
He was 79. No,
Not the immediate next one.
They'd have a 7-10.
Yeah.
They have a 7-10 for the next one. But then they're probably So anyway.
Well, I'm not going to do one now.
I ain't, yeah. Go New Orleans. If they go there.
You know, the Saints can take it. There weren't many. Nobody else.
Did you stay for Sunday? Come on back. Come on back.
How you doing, Mr. Hawkins? City of Colleges. Yep. Please rain, please. Right. Right. All right. Full house. Full house. All right. Let's get started if you don't mind. I don't have the gavel in front of me.
My chair's up very high.
All right. Call to order. Roll call. Now I need a few minutes to approve the minutes for February. I got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? All right. We're going to kind of move around the agenda. We're going to start with new business, if you don't mind. And Gordon Wilburn, if you want to step forward and talk to us about.
Sure. Gordon Wilburn with QTAC Rock Law Firm in Little Rock and serving as bond counsel to the city on the issuance of these bonds. I know you're all aware of the election and the passage of the 3 questions. But one of the requirements under the statute under which these are to be issued is the approval of the A&P Commission. So that's what we're doing here today. It approves the issuance of the bonds up to the amounts that were approved in the election. Those are the same amounts. And approves the documents under which those bonds will be issued. And also over in Section 6, it authorizes the city to use up to $900,000 of the collections of the 1 cent and the 3/4 cent that are pledged to the bonds, the amounts not used for debt service to fund operations and maintenance of the community center. The pledge to secure the bonds is the exact same as the pledge securing the current bonds that are outstanding. And part of what this bond issue would do is to refinance those bonds as well. So it will just be this new issue of bonds outstanding after this is done. The representatives of the underwriting team are here too. They can probably talk about numbers, but the bonds won't be offered until we get a rating, and they can talk about schedule as well. Paul, you want to address that?
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm Paul Phillips with Cruz and Associates, one of the underwriting partners in this deal, and also from Stevens, and Leanne Burnett's also here. As everybody knows, the voters had approved $6.9 million for the refinance of the 2017 bonds, $27.3 for the community center, and $5.5 for the soccer fields. Friday, we submitted a credit package to the rating agency that currently rates the 2017 bonds, and as you may recall, those bonds were initially and currently rated A, so we would hope for the same. Our schedule provides for the rating to be received on or before March 31st, and shortly thereafter, within a couple of days, we would intend to release the preliminary official statement, which is a document that we use in soliciting orders for the bonds. And with an official order period on Tuesday, April 12th, which later that evening, we would present the final terms and conditions of the bonds to the city council for consideration and approval on that evening. And then on adoption of that bond ordinance on April 12th, we would then proceed with the publication of the ordinance and have set and establish a closing date of May 17th, at which time the funds will be available for the city and for the projects. I'm happy to answer any other questions regarding the structure or anything else that we've put together in connection with this.
Are there any questions?
Paul, you don't see any problems with being able to sell these bonds, do you?
Well, it's, as you know from the headlines you read every day,
That's the reason for the
it's a
question.
very volatile and challenging time right now, and it seems that each day presents its own set of challenges. But I think what we could point to, both Leanne and I could point to was, we did roughly $35.5 million Conway Electric last week with a 23-year final maturity of AA3. And while it wasn't like the great times it's a year or so ago, we were very effective in soliciting orders for all of the bonds. And when we completed the order period, everyone at Conway Corp was pleased and satisfied with the results, and I was too. So,
Thank you.
No other questions? All right,
thank you.
Yeah, but I'd like to ask a question first.
Please do.
Ms. Isby, I don't remember a $900,000 number for operation and maintenance.
It's like 700 and something.
750 is what I remember.
What I was recalling,
And-
yes.
And that's, I mean, that
Mhm.
was,
Right, but this is saying up to, it's not saying 900.
I would
But
like,
yeah, the
I'd like,
700 and
I'd like to
something.
put that 750 in if that's okay with everybody. Because I think that's,
Do we know the reason why it was 900?
yeah.
I think I was just putting what I was told, but I think it was just to give a little cushion there.
I thought it was 8. I thought it was 8.
I don't remember an 800 ever. I remember a 750, and I remember it pretty well, I think.
I have to agree.
Yeah, I'm thinking it was 750.
Yeah, I'd rather, let's do what we told the voters that we told them we were gonna do. And let's not open that checkbook any farther than we need to. Is that a problem, Gordon?
No,
with
no,
changing that number?
No.
Okay.
Just kind of to get it all signed, you guys just pass it as amended at 750, and Travis, I will send you copies to sign that say 750.
Okay.
Sounds good. So we're gonna get it changed to 750,000. I believe I need a motion.
Second?
I got a motion and a second to amend it from 900 to 750,000. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you very much.
We need to approve it?
That's what we just did.
You put amend and approve. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Amend. I just heard amend. I was like, damn it.
Thank y'all.
Thank you very much, sir.
I just had tidbits going out farm. I got to go check on.
No.
Pull hard.
Tell Wilbur I said hi.
Thank you very
Thank you,
much for
guys.
attending.
Thank
Thank you
y'all.
very much.
Yeah, see, that's what you say.
Mhm.
Funding events.
I don't believe we have any.
Financial information, please.
Where's Andy going? Yep.
It just, restaurant plus snacks.
We- A break?
Yeah.
Oh, just gonna go ahead.
I'm back.
Yep.
Are y'all ready for financial?
Yes, we are.
Okay. The first of your packet, financials might be backwards in your packet. Esther, Esther put them together for us today.
And so first you just gotta flip it.
Just flip it over, it's fine.
I only got paid one airhead. I need to get a couple.
I'll pay you some more whenever we leave.
I know, I got this only got a bit on.
Are you ready for financials, Mr. Hawkins? Okay, the front page of the balance sheet is the balance in our A&P operating account and A&P tax collection account in the CD. And if you flip to the third page, the comparative two-year income statement. For February 2022, we're in the black, $2,670.83. Over last year at this time, we were in the red, $52,094.16. Overall for the year to date so far, $23,993.52 is the black versus $43,945.19 last year at this time. The general ledger and the. Do what?
It looks like our
Advertising.
advertising media is 57,000, where before it was 33.
What is CJRW in the ledger for advertising?
Yes.
They are an advertising agency and they produce several publications for Parks and Tourism that we buy ads in.
Yes, you can see the checks behind those numbers on the check register behind the account reconciliation for account 7873. CBC was an event for the wrestling, and then Pin Oak was also for an event. Any more questions?
City's doing pretty well on this. Year-to-date, 764,000. Last year at this time, 583,000. It's $180,000.
Did you move to the log paper?
Yeah, but I'm just looking back at something else right now. I'm making a comment. Carry on.
All those restaurants are feeling that, guys. I mean, I didn't feel like
Just don't have the staff.
I don't know how we're doing.
Okay, on the long pieces of paper, you got first two is the breakdown to the city into A and P. Page 2 is the amount less fees that are checks are actually cut for. Collections for February 2022 were $407,675.69, up over 2021 by $116,417.95, which is a 28.56% increase, and up over 2020 about 58,860.47, which was a 14.44% increase.
What did you say? Did you say it's not good for you?
We're all dying because we don't have any employees,
Staff.
but we're doing these sales and can't
Our labor
keep.
numbers look really good right
Yeah, yeah. So good that if we were bonusing people out, we probably wouldn't bonus them because it's too low to run good customer service. It's rough. But it's good, but we're tired. we're tired.
When is that gonna change? When are people gonna go back to work?
I don't
now. I don't
know.
know that it's that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Unemployment's right. Unemployment's down. What is it? We can't figure it out.
Where are people that used to work in this
Service
industry?
industry isn't as,
Where
It's
are,
not just restaurants, it's several.
Restaurants lost people and didn't get them back like other folks did. And it would be, y'all can check out pulseofconway.com for some good commentary on some of this, pulseofconway.com. But I don't know.
let me write that
College
down,
student-
Gates,
it's
hold on.
pulseofconway.com.
I thought
Traditional
that's,
spelling.
thank you.
There was for 18 months, and I don't know where college students fit into the equation, but there was a substantial amount of direct aid given to college students, and so that doesn't help people who live in that market.
My own son decreased his hours when he got his last check from left me there. Yeah, Mike's gonna bring him
Bigger
on.
that mail a little bit more.
I know,
Just give the other two a bigger share.
right? Hey, Parker turns 16 on Saturday and knows he'll be working on Monday. He
But
knows. Help the family.
In a town with 3 colleges, that may be helping juice our restaurant spends, and it may be hurting. It's not helping push folks back into waiting tables.
My
But that is
observation, which is right, is we have fewer college kids working at the restaurant. They're in college.
Same.
But overall, the workforce is the same size or larger than it was pre-pandemic. Our unemployment in the city is probably around 1.5. So if you want that 98th person at your place.
Then I'd like to announce the world is officially changed from the time I was in college. Because that's how you made money.
Yeah.
And up until 3 years ago, that's probably how college students made money.
But now, that program that I referenced is essentially over as of last month.
Probably referenced in pulseofconway.com.
I'll say restaurants are fun to work in. I still have fun when I'm getting to work. It's just when I'm hiring people, they don't show up.
I'm
Alright.
sorry.
Miss Jill, continue, please.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to
It's fine.
hijack that.
Y'all could use this airtime to
We need to vent.
get people to want to apply at your restaurant.
It is industry relevant.
Okay, so the 4th page is delinquent collections, which are up this month. $36,018.09, which consists of 8.83% of total collections, and up over last year at 6.81 by 6.81%.
Good job.
Those Hail Marys really worked last
Yeah,
time.
that's awesome.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the delinquent list looks really a lot better.
Yes.
Sorry, it is very small. We had a server issue and apparently it knocked out anything wanting to print on long pieces of paper. The delinquent list, yes, is shortening, and you will see, well, hold on, let's finish this. Collections excluding delinquents are 371,657.60, up over 2021 by 100,229.95, which is a 26.97% increase. Pay Simple collections are 153,373.49, which is 37.62% of total collections and up over 2021 by 50.88%.
On that, real quick, Jill and I met with Charles on Thursday morning, is that correct? Yeah. And we're gonna try to go back, kind of, they say the old way, before they get clear with the penalties and fines. They need to be clear with Jill and bring some kind of receipt to Charles, and they can have their conversation after. So I hope this list will go smaller and smaller. So, hope we don't have same conversations each month, because I know it's not easy.
Yeah.
Well, and that meeting resulted from the county finally collected the amount for your pie that has been lingering since last year. We filed the hot check charge, and apparently Shubhamdeep was arrested, and they made him cut the check to them before they left court, or before they left, courthouse, wherever they were taken to. They made them pay our amount of the taxes for the check that had bounced, and the county issued us a check for the restitution for it.
The paperwork that code enforcement's been taken out at 30, 60, 90 days, it does seem to be working. One thing I would like to do is get a copy of that to someone on the commission to see if we can't get it translated into Spanish. I know there's some discussion about that a few months ago with certain things being translated, and I think our sheet would be a lot of help. If you look on there, there's lots of food trucks, lots of Hispanic-owned businesses, and it would just be a benefit, maybe if it was even front and back, English one side, Spanish on the other. So.
If you would send me that document, I have the other documents translated.
Okay.
I can have the same person do this one too.
Okay, great. I'll get it to you today.
Awesome.
So, all right, thanks.
Spencer, you have a new bulldog working with you.
That's all right, Chuck Gann. So,
Officer Gann has been with Faulkner County for a number of
long time, and I did some headhunting and got him over with us, and we're glad to have him. He's going to be an asset to the department, and he's going to help with the same P stuff. So y'all should be seeing him around.
Officer Gann's Dan.
Yeah, he is. He is.
At this time, I'll take a motion.
Make a motion for our normal 30, 60, 90 days.
I got a motion and a second. All approved, say aye. Any opposed? Thank you.
Do we approve the financials yet?
I think that's what just happened.
What do y'all?
I do it
We
all
can
in one.
skip.
I do it all in one.
Okay, and we approve the financials. I'll just add that in every time.
Can I get a motion to approve the financials? And a new chair.
Stop it.
Here, take this
I'm
one.
ready to go home.
I need a motion to approve the financials, please.
I'll
So
make the
moved.
motion.
Second. Thank you. I got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Sheila and Esther. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I sent you all a report on Friday, a little later than normal. I was out of town last week. But just to touch on some highlights of it, week before last, I attended the Arkansas Governor's Conference on Tourism. It was in Fayetteville. Sessions and keynote speakers all related to tourism and Arkansas. The day after Governor's Conference ended, I attended the Arkansas Sports Summit, which was another meeting hosted by Parks and Tourism, talking about sports in the state. A lot of it focused on esports, which if you're not familiar with that, It's up and coming in the sports world. Not sure that's where we want to invest much time yet. We'll let somebody else figure it out first. I had mentioned before that I was going to do a podcast all about Conway, and so I did that, I believe, the day after our last meeting. And during the podcast, I was asked to highlight 3 things about Conway that are interesting. I talked about Toadsuck Days, Lake Conway being the largest man-made game and fish owned lake in the country, and that we have 3 colleges in town. Still waiting for that to be released. Travis Napper from Arkansas Tourism came. Jamie and I took him on a tour of the new art museum at Hendricks. If you have not been yet, it's very impressive. It's a great tourism amenity for us to have here. They have an awesome exhibit that's about to end, and then they'll be doing a student showcase and then close for the summer, but then next fall they'll bring in other touring exhibits. These are high quality exhibits. They're partnered with MoMA. It's really cool. I think partially because of that, we got a call last week while I was out of town from Stacy Hurst, the secretary of the Arkansas Department of Parks, Heritage, and Tourism, and she asked if we could host their commission meeting, which is this week. So she called Jamie, and I think he had about a 5-day notice. The city that was supposed to host their meeting fell through, and they said they knew that they could call on us and we would get it done for them. So there are 40-ish people coming for that meeting. They'll be here Wednesday, have a reception and a dinner, spend the night, and then they'll have meetings all day Thursday. This is people from all over the state come and attend this meeting, as well as the state commissioners. I also mentioned this in my report, but I thought it was worth pointing out. We have a new courtyard by Marriott that it's under construction, and originally they had talked about having quite a bit of meeting space. They were calling it a convention center, even though it wasn't a true convention center, but they were supposed to have meeting space for up to 150. And they called the other day to let me know they had had some changes, and now they will have meeting space for 16 people. So not quite the same. I have some ads to show. This is from Bike Arkansas, ad about cycling. And I think I'd shown you part of this before, but this was the Arkansas Sports Guide that focuses on sports throughout the state. We are featured here with some of our amenities posted, and anyway, contact information for us. And then I also included in your packet a report from Due North Consulting that gives some metrics for an ad campaign that we started with them digitally. So, any questions about anything that I did or didn't mention?
We're gonna have a meeting with Stacy Hurst Bunch. Where's that?
So they will come Wednesday, and we're going to host them at the Max downtown. We'll have a reception and a dinner for them there, catered meal. And then they will meet and stay at the Hilton Garden Inn, because they could accommodate the meeting space needed. And I believe that we'll take them on a tour of that Hendricks museum Wednesday before their reception as well. So you are all invited to attend the reception, the dinner, the tour, the meeting on Thursday. It would be really great if some of you, one of you, any of you could be there just as a representative from the commission. So if you have questions, if you want to know, I can get their agenda and send that to you so you could have a better reference on time. But the dinner will be great. You'll be there.
Pub crawl next time, you can just stop at our places and we'll wave.
Yeah. Yes, that there will be drinks there. Yeah.
And just to set a little context, because there has been a reorganization in state government, and so this is, probably familiar with Parks and Tourism and state parks were in there. But when they consolidated and reorganized state government, you now have Stacey Hirsch, who's the Secretary of Parks, Tourism, and Heritage, and the individual agencies are Parks, Tourism, and Heritage, which have other kind of subordinate agencies, which is why this meeting, which we have hosted under the old form of government, is now quite a bit larger. But so the Arkansas Arts Council, all of the arts-related stuff, all of the, there's a new Office of Outdoor Recreation, which really supports outdoor-oriented businesses of all varieties, not just tourism, but outdoor. All of those directors and senior staff will be here. It is good for the community because there are grant programs that we have benefited from in a number of different ways. You know, we probably have some of our grant applicants are also funded by programs that come from these parent or kind of subordinate agencies. So we're very excited about those.
Sounds like there's money involved to put all this stuff together. Do you need some money?
Yes, so we will pay for dinner and the drinks and also possibly some transportation to get them from their hotel to the dinner and the museum tour and back to the hotel. So yes, I do think it's appropriate to pay for it with AMP funds since it is directly tourism related. I don't.
I think we kind of internally said 5,000 is probably what it looks like at the top end. We're still getting the number on ground transportation and how many people we've got to move around. The state's already booked. They're handling all their meeting room and hotel room expenses. And so this is really kind of into our hosting. What we had discussed is, you know, there's not a, because we didn't know that we were going to be asked to do this, there's not a line item that aligns really well with it. We didn't want to take it from incentives or advertising or special projects because it wasn't one of those three things. And so did kind of want to bring it before you. There's no accounting or mechanical problem with us just submitting the
Invoices.
to Jill and having them paid, but it is a material enough expense to where we wanted you to know what it was and we didn't want it to come out of the pot that didn't make sense for.
I'll make a motion that we approve up to $5,000
Second.
for this project.
Got a motion and a second.
Out of general funds. Out of our general.
Out of general funds.
Come on, y'all. Chill. That'd be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks.
Devo.
Yes, sir.
You didn't make me pay it, I'll be back.
First weekend in March, we had baseball, softball, and volleyball. Unfortunately, this past weekend, we lost a really big baseball tournament. I want to say over 100 teams because we couldn't get snow off the field. So
We need a dome.
that's,
Been saying it 5 years now.
I'll work on that. I'll get a price. This coming weekend, we have volleyball and softball. The 26th and 27th, we have the gun show, baseball tournament and softball tournament. And then the first weekend in April, CBC has an event out at the Expo, and we have another baseball and softball. So keep snow away.
I'm trying.
We'll be doing fine.
Whether they were on the asphalt fields or grass,
Just wouldn't, I mean, you just couldn't get the,
it wouldn't matter.
I need
Yeah.
a hairdryer. Sign me up.
that's, you know, one thing that you just can't get rid of.
Tarps.
But,
Warm.
so, there'll be, you know, obviously baseball and softball season and along with volleyball. It's kicking in.
Thank you for your work on.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Funding application for Conway Farmers Market is right before you.
I said I really missed you.
Okay, so I received this application from the Conway Farmers Market. They have never requested A&P funds before, so this is their first time asking for any money from us. And this is for the farmer's market that is in the Antioch Baptist parking lot, not the downtown farmer's market. They are two separate entities. They're asking for money for advertising, specifically online, print, and radio. I'll say their application is actually very thorough, a lot more so than most of the ones we get, which I appreciated. Anyway, they want money for boosting Facebook ads. I wouldn't say that it generates any overnight stays. I'm not sure that they can directly point to any restaurant spends, but it is a nice amenity for the community. So it's up to y'all. They're asking for $5,000 in advertising funds. We do have the budget for however much you're comfortable giving to them if you decide to give them any.
So this is a nonprofit organization?
Yes. So currently they get money from vendors paying for their booths, and I think that's about it. They've gotten a grant from the Faulkner County Extension Office, and that's the extent of their funds. So they've, I think, wanted to advertise in the past, but they just really don't have any money to do it, so.
And if they're already full on the 300, 600, if people are out on Saturday, they're usually gonna eat out.
Yeah.
So,
So they estimate, well, they have 7,800 followers on their Facebook account. They don't really give any numbers as to how many people come out there each week. But they run April to October.
This is pretty well put together too.
300 to 600 each Saturday.
I'll make a motion, we give them $3,000.
I'll second that.
I got a frown.
No, I just got, good point was made.
Good,
That,
good what?
are they serving food?
No, I don't believe so. They're selling,
They won't be serving?
yeah,
Fruits, vegetables, flowers.
probably
um,
bread,
Yeah.
honey,
Honey, yeah,
jellies,
nuts,
jams,
and
yeah.
all that stuff, yeah.
I have a motion and a second for 3,000. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Okay, I'll let them know.
Andy.
Yeah.
And all of them said aye.
Okay.
Next is Jamie Gates.
I'm going to quickly hand this off to the subject matter expert, but since I printed these and put staples in them, I get to introduce it. That's right. Does everybody have these handouts? I think we got them in front of each of you. They were included in your pre-meeting materials. We've done a little bit of work on this in my other role with the Conway Development Corporation. This is the Meadows Technology Park, which you might recognize. And in this presentation, you will see the route for a mountain bike trail that Mr. Terry Coddington, who I'll bring up here in a moment to speak, laid out for us. He is an expert in that and has done that work in other parts of the city on some projects you're familiar with, and then around the state on projects that many in the cycling community are familiar with. At our last CDC board meeting, we voted to approve the donation of the easement for this trail to the city of Conway. And that's contingent, obviously, upon all the pieces falling into place. But that totals, it's probably north of a $400,000 real estate donation that the CDC board's going to make to the city of Conway. And then I will now have Terry come up and talk about the potential impact for this project. And then we do have some budget numbers about what it takes to make it a reality and timeline.
Hey there. So what you're seeing there is a map. It's about a 2.9-mile trail system. In that technology park with the ample parking and the ability to close down the roads, it would be the first venue in central Arkansas that could host NICA, which is National Interscholastic Cycle. It's basically high school mountain biking, grades 6 through 12, that could host an event. The course would be beginner to intermediate. When it's not being used for a race or an event, which would be just once, maybe twice a year. When it's not, it'd be open for the community to use as well, multi-user trail, beginner to intermediate, some features out there. So the proximity of it, where it's located in the city, it also is going to benefit. There's really nothing for folks on the south side of town. And the fact that there's enough green space, parking, and all that, easy access in and off the interstate. The NICA League in the state of Arkansas is a state league that has, last year had 800 student athletes. They're expecting close to 1,000. By the time parents and volunteers and everybody show up, you're looking at 2,500 to 3,000 people at a venue. So, any other questions you would like to ask?
That sounds like a big number.
It's a big number. It's a big production. It's it's probably the largest traveling, series in the state. The only thing that's really bigger would be the Big Dam Bridge 100, which is probably 3,500 or so people in Little Rock.
Terry, you might want to speak to the nature and timeline of what it's like
Okay.
to host
So right now the schedule for 2022 is set. And obviously course construction would take a little bit of time. I've met with professional trail builders. Portions of this trail are going to be built by volunteers in the community, but also a large portion of it's being built by a professional trail builder, which helps in sustainability, erosion, all of those factors that go into making a sustainable trail. So with that being said, with the schedule being set for 2022, the first chance to have an event would be 2023. Trail construction, once finished though, people could start using it immediately. And it could impact, as we've seen with Pompey Park. If you're familiar with that, its impact is much greater than just the community. Folks are traveling from Little Rock and Beebe and different places to come just to ride, and that's just a 3/4 mile trail. So this is 3 miles of trail.
And then an event weekend, so there's an overnight element to this.
Right. Yeah. So, the race weekends are an entire weekend. The athletes have to pre-ride the course on Saturdays. The races are on Sundays. And obviously volunteers come in and set the course up on Fridays. So you see an influx of people. Also, one other factor is that right now that league is probably 70% based in Northwest Arkansas. That means really the only local team that's not traveling would be the Conway team and the 2 teams in Little Rock. Everybody else is going to come and stay. So there's hotel stays, camping. Some would, we'd obviously have to permit to request like on-site tent camping. But obviously RV parks, hotels, restaurants, and that type of thing are impacted. Food vendors would be brought into the venue, to help feed folks while they're there.
Terry, do you have any idea, you said in 2023, what time?
It's a fall sport.
Fall.
Yeah, it's a fall sport. So usually the first race of the seasons falls September, and the last race of the season is usually around Halloween.
Is this a Conway Parks? Who's the administration on?
So the CDC will donate the trail easement so essentially 12 to 16 feet wide for 2.9 miles. We'll donate that to the city in the form of an easement. It'll be a similar arrangement to the maintenance on these. Steve, I don't know what your maintenance has been on Pompey, but I think the cycling
folks
Yeah.
handle most of
yeah.
that. And if it's built appropriately, for example, Pompey, it weathers better than a lot of the others
Yeah.
I've seen around the
Yeah.
state.
Folks were riding that in the snow and the day after the snow, so, which you can't do on a regular mountain bike trail, so.
So, the remaining steps, from here will be, we'll have to, the benefit is the CDC owns 80% of the property, still at the Meadows Technology Park. We'll work with a couple tenants on, does this alignment suit you better or not? Are you happy, doing an easement? That's all, I'd say 99% of that is motivated by liability. And so it'll be.
That's my
a
second
city-
question.
it'll be a
Who
city
assumes the
Conway
liability
asset.
on the track for
It'd
this?
be the city.
We can't do too much of this. And I think it's where a lot of part of the country's going, certainly having Bentonville is real successful. Geographically, we don't have quite some of that type of terrain, so I think any of these things that we can kind of do are going to be very beneficial.
One important thing to note too regarding liability, there is a state statute for private land used for public use that they can't be held liable, so.
The impact beyond the special events, and Terry's being modest, but people do travel here to learn on some of the infrastructure we have that was built by the local cycling community. And so I think you're going to see regular pickup. I didn't know this when we first started working on this, but there's not a Central Arkansas competitive track. And to get into the numbers, and I would say this was included in your materials, but the estimate that Terry got for $36,000, and we think that this is suitable for the special projects funding that we've got. The number currently $250, I think, budgeted for 2022. So plenty of bandwidth there, and I think the local micro group will be bringing probably a sweat match of 20 to 30% of that anyway.
Yeah.
What is the length of a race? Is it 10 miles? Is it three
Yeah.
times around the track?
Good question. Yeah, so the sixth graders, for example, would do probably one lap, right around 3 miles, and then the varsity riders are gonna do 4 to 5 laps, so upwards 15 miles.
So it's not just one race then, you'll have multiple races for different age brackets.
Different grades and abilities. So the way the race days look on Sunday,
Yeah.
the race starts, the first race takes off at 8:30, and they go off in waves, and typically things are not done until 5 o'clock on that Sunday. That's how long it takes between
So
awards.
it's typically a timed event, not a line 10 people up and go?
No, it's, the field, the huge fields, and that's where the green space is important, because some of the races have close to 100 kids in them
Wow.
for one race.
And is
That
there?
sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Is there a state championship for this?
It's a series, and so they crown the state champion at the last race.
Why don't we hold that here every year?
Well, here's the challenge in that is Centennial. I don't know if you're familiar with Centennial Park in Fayetteville. They just hosted the World Championships, and that's the last race of the season. Is these high school, so that you're competing with a very specific race course that's holding world level events. We don't have that kind of terrain, but we can host the regional. Yeah. So.
We can move, dirt can be moved.
Yeah.
We can move mountains, is that what you're
Dirt can be moved.
I
We met
like,
this group, we
I
can
like,
move mountains.
yeah, I'm liking this group already.
Terry, dirt can
Yeah.
be moved, I promise you.
We'll move some up there.
Yeah.
Good.
The only thing between us and our second one is doing our first one, so.
Let's do it. Let us know what we can do to help.
Yeah.
Second.
What's the ask? What are we doing?
36.
250.
I got a motion and a second to approve 36,250 for the bike.
Is that enough?
That should be enough. Now, obviously, that was before diesel went up to $5 a gallon, but we'll get, yeah, it'll be, yeah. The conversations I've had with the trail builder, they're confident that's a solid price for 2022.
Okay.
Thank
It
you.
was Mike and then Sheila second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank
Got
you.
old business.
Hold on. Hold on. We got to stay on track.
It's good though.
She said it's good. Here, girl.
It's lost in this pile of paper.
We're right there.
Oh, we're almost done.
Miss Rachel, the last of the new business.
The permit.
That was something Jill asked me to put on the agenda.
That's right. So, sorry. For new permit holders, we would like to maybe start something where we require them to come to the first A&P commission before they get their A&P license. So they sit here, we look at them in the eyes, they understand that, well, the commission, it's not like here's a piece of application or paper, go fill it out, turn it in, you get your permit. You don't understand the rules. That was brought up during our meeting on Thursday. I want to throw this as an idea because I think it'll get a little more when you can look somebody in the eyes and get their true feeling and then just kind of get a signature. So,
Well, I think it'll help them understand the importance of getting the tax waiver and they can ask any questions.
and that, I mean,
Well,
that
and
means,
it'd be just like beverage is done with the council. I mean, they have to approve. You don't have to approve for someone to have a permit. I mean, if they don't show up here, I mean, it would help eventually eliminate, because there are several businesses that are now functioning and open for business, even brick and mortar that are operating without a permit. So Denise and I have to backtrack and try to figure out who owns it, how to get in communication with them, and we have to send code enforcement out there. I mean, it's a lot of work on all of our parts.
I mean, that's even if they come up tomorrow or Wednesday or Thursday and start for an application, they're not supposed to open business if we approve this till next meeting, after next meeting when they're here. Yes, that puts a little time, but I don't think anybody wakes up today and plans to open a business tomorrow, so.
You wouldn't believe I've gotten
Well, they can pay
about 10 permits this week. Or last
and
week.
then not know that they're supposed to have it. That does happen sometimes, and I don't know. You know.
So that's just a conversation piece. I don't know if we want to think about it or table or make a motion to approve it. I
can't think of any reason why not.
Denise was saying that she thought there had to be a new ordinance for it.
Okay.
Is there a place for permit, is it permit holder or their designee, or I'm just wondering whose name's on the permit versus who comes, is it the owner versus the
Manager?
I just think maybe some of these, some of the chains or
Whoever's
whatever,
responsible
I
for
don't know.
paying for it, I think needs to be.
I would, I don't know, that's kind of,
What's the
Owner or
what's the-
representative.
Well, what's the
Spencer,
term?
why
Some
don't
of the
you
stuff
take-
you sign on returns is.
It would be helpful from a code enforcement perspective that whoever's name was on the permit that would receive the citation would be required to be here. So, because that's usually what we have to go by, is the most responsible person, so.
It could save a lot of time in the future, so it's really good.
Yeah.
is this something that you and Charles, an ordinance needs to put together?
To be honest, I'm not 100% sure if we have to have an ordinance. I think you could approve it today if you wanted to, and we could prepare an ordinance to get it passed next time, but I don't know the answer. You gotta have one. I don't think you did, but the commission passes it, and I think, but I can talk to Charles. If you want to table it now, that's up to y'all.
So basically, we could pass it and say if it needs an ordinance, you'll get it prepared.
It's a requirement in order to get your permit, and it's signed off by the chairman that you attended the meeting.
Yep.
It's that simple.
I'll make a motion to do what Jeremy said.
So I have a motion
Is that on the record?
that anybody that starts a new business after this date of, what is it, March
14.
Will be
14th?
effective.
As of this.
As of the 15th, will need to appear before the A&P Commission. I have a motion from Esther. I need a second.
I seconded it.
And I gotta say, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. And Evan, if you don't mind, get with Charles and just, whatever needs to be done, appreciate it.
Well, and it could be, well, anyone that comes to Denise to get a permit. But do you think we should post it somewhere, newspaper, the city site, somewhere?
It'd be good to have it on the site where they get the application, just to put the requirements. I think that'd be a good idea.
I can put it on the CDB site too, where we have forms listed.
Okay.
That'd be awesome.
This makes good sense.
Yeah.
Any old business?
Oh, that's me. I'm old business. Just call me old business.
Well, it's right here, it's number 10.
I got a couple things. I've been trying to look into a text messaging service, so when, and the two people I've talked to don't like what they use. So basically, as owners, business owners, sometimes we don't see the email, the paper's working, but that is a lot of work on y'all's end. Trying to look at something that'll send, like they'll sign up when they sign to get their permit, they'll put their best number, and if they accept text, and then Jill, anytime we need to, every once a year, we'll send an update. Do you need to update any information? Send it through text. If they're delinquent, then a text can go out to the phone number that they say they're responsible for. So I've just got to keep looking to see what the price is, and then we can discuss if we think it's worth it. I know that we're all, as business owners, you don't really go very far without this, but sometimes you can get 100 emails in one day. Just ask Travis, I miss his emails quite regularly. Then he texts me. But so that's the first thing, and I'll keep looking into that if y'all are all interested. The next thing is, I went to a meeting with ABC, and the guy, one of the attorneys that's over it, said 100% that the number one way that people get their ABC permit revoked is by not paying their city taxes and paying their taxes. And basically, we just contact them, and then they'll let them know that their permit's going to be revoked. So they will do that, and that's what they said they normally do. That's the number one way, I think, that people get their ABC permit revoked. And when that happens, you are not allowed to sell alcohol. So it was mentioned, I think, by Jamie. I do think that for the businesses that have alcohol on those pieces of paper, I think it'd be something nice to have, because let me tell you, none of us want to work with not be able to sell alcohol, in the ones that do. So there's that. And then my third thing is, I was looking on the VRBO, looking at how to gather the information of the owners in the locations, because the costs seemed kind of high for me to have to pay the service for them to do that when they can't even actually give us the address. And it's a couple of them listed people's names, and you can literally find them. So there's that. And not to say that each of us are gonna take 10, but maybe. So we can get their names, but then you can also, for you on VRBO, once you go to how to pay, it'll show you the exact house location on the street. So getting that information out. So my question was to you, how many have you received permit holders for Airbnb and VRBO?
I would say 8.
8?
That's a little short.
Yeah.
Very short.
So, and again, the city doesn't see any money from the hotels, so, and they're split, so that's kind of on us to figure out. But it might just be something that we can potentially do a little, or do you have, go ahead.
Well, I have not had time to look into it since our last meeting, because as I mentioned, I've been gone a little bit. But I did talk to basically my counterpart in Rogers, and they use the company that Felicia had mentioned in our February meeting, and they were just getting set up with them. Something Gov. Do you remember? I don't remember the name of the company, but I've got it in my email and I can reach out to them again, but basically he was telling me that they were really happy with it and that they're just getting set up with it. I think they started in January, but that it will pay for itself in collections. So I still have to do more research on it and figure out exactly what it would entail for y'all and how much it would cost, but that is still ongoing. So.
And then Jill, did Denise, was she able to contact the Airbnb? Because she had somebody who gave her somebody's info to be able to contact them directly, because Airbnb does have it set up where it says in the state of Arkansas, they can collect the tax. So if that could work, then it would be really, really simple. It's just getting them to list and know what that tax is. So, you hadn't heard from her?
I just texted her to see
Okay.
if she come
So
down here.
That's my whole business. I've been trying to follow up. I know, look, I need another Laffy Taffy. I'll buy me some candy. I'm cheap.
Wanna wait on Felicia?
Felicia's here.
Yeah.
Denise, I'm sorry.
Denise.
I mean, I don't think there's a rush on it. Just, it's just for us to keep in mind so we don't get lost in the mix.
GovOS was that company.
And they already did something for us, right? For the city, so we got that info.
Correct.
I think that'd be good for us to see too. Alright, that's all. Old business is done. Old Esther, old business. I'm gonna get that mower. I'm good at mowing. I push mowed for years for money. I'm retired.
Yeah, right.
We have had one person make a payment for B&B or whatever they are.
Well, I had a
She
couple
was an
manufacturers.
overachiever. She paid for February in February.
Cause she knew what was
paid.
coming.
Yes. She paid on February 22nd for February. She was very worried because there was, she had some people that were set to stay, but it was a time period where it was going to cross over from January to February, but she wasn't actually going to get paid for it until they left, and
Right.
et cetera, et cetera. But anyway, she was very concerned about getting the payment in.
That's awesome. I need her to go talk to her friends that I don't know.
She asked me if there's a club for these people because so they can bounce ideas off each other. I don't know if there's not one. I think we need to start one.
Then we would be able to tell them in the Facebook.
Exactly.
Club. Alright.
Beneficial for us. Denise is coming down.
Denise is coming down, that's why I have not.
Gotcha. Oh, yo. You need to bring down Mike, you wanna go work up there? Friday? Yeah, send her on. I need some servers next.
I think y'all started like the Maroon and Navy Club today.
So we're not.
Minus me and Sheila.
Yeah, a 16 person can.
I got Maroon though.
Yeah.
That's the first
I don't see you.
Hey, cost of goods. Ooh, Denise, come on to the mic.
Sorry, I didn't tell you
Come on
every
up.
detail of it.
Y'all love putting me on the spot, don't you?
Okay.
It was me. I put you on the spot. I was wondering about the Airbnb, contacting them and how that went.
Can I refer to the email that I sent you guys?
I did not see it. I'm so sorry.
Well, no, actually, I didn't send it to everybody. I sent it to Travis and Jill
Oh, okay.
because I wasn't sure I had everybody's
Okay.
email address.
Check my AMP commission folder.
That must be where it is.
Sorry.
Okay. Well, can I read you what I found out?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Airbnb does contract to collect and remit AMP taxes or local taxes. The Hot Springs AMP Commission that I spoke with, excuse me, I just ran down the stairs. They have such a contract with Airbnb. According to them, the contact that I spoke with in Hot Springs, Airbnb is the only one who offers such an arrangement, so VRBO does not. She told me that one drawback to the system that they do have, though, is that Airbnb does not break out the taxes by address. They just send them a lump sum.
Okay.
So that's kind of awkward. She didn't like that, but, and also she said that honestly, not many of the Airbnbs even opted for that. The individual property owner has to opt for that in their contract with Airbnb, and she said a lot of them don't. She said, she said to their knowledge, VRBO does not collect taxes for remittance to cities. She also recommended, I asked about a software or what they were using, and she recommended, they have a civic engagement software from Granicus, Host Compliance. She said they really love it. It shows all their short-term rentals and what platforms they post their properties on. So you can actually see where they're posting their properties for rental. And I asked if you had to use the whole system or if you could just use that one component, and she said you could just use that one component of that system. So that's really good too. I wasn't real sure on whether Granicus actually locates the short-term rentals for us or if it just monitors them once they're placed in the system. So that's something that would have to be looked into. So that's about it. And
Wouldn't you say we probably have about 8 permits so far?
Sorry?
Wouldn't you say we probably have about 8 permits so far? 'Cause I think you said
7 or 8.
7
And
or
I've
8, yeah.
talked to several people that have called and asked questions and gotten the packet, but haven't actually heard anything back from them yet.
Did Hot Springs tell you how they got the word out?
No.
Because I know they did a good job. Like a lot of my
Yeah,
people I know are like, oh, you gotta get your, I mean, they're kind of scared about it.
They probably purchase, the software to do that, to have some, the software that goes out and finds them.
Some mess. Yeah.
I don't know, I can't imagine any other way to find them all.
One more thing.
They do walkthroughs and stuff and like look through and make sure your deck's appropriate and tell you what's considered a bedroom and how many people you're allowed to have.
Hot Springs requirements are very stringent.
Yeah, I'm learning
and lots of penalties too.
We'll have a property someday if they ever.
The commission voted on that any new permit holders, when they come to you, before they can open doors, will need to come before the commission so they understand the process of how paying the taxes work.
Okay.
Just like beverage.
Just like beverage.
Okay.
I told them that it's going to be a little bit harder than, hopefully.
And so that would happen at the monthly meeting?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So that is effective tomorrow, please.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Anything else?
Any other questions?
Do what?
Oh my gosh.
You can take the elevator back.
Thank you.
Thank you, Denise.
I need a motion.
So moved to adjourn.
All right, got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Ah.
Y'all have a great day.
Jimmy's already gone.